I literally see my cousin every day and I don't think about killing him, stabbing him in his sleep, or putting poisonous substance in his food. I was about 6 years old, and it was around that time that the abuse started. He would make me and sometimes my brother watch a porn video on his phone. My dad's friend would come from time to time and would have his way. And even if I struggled to remove my little body from underneath him, it didn't make any difference. This too continued. A series of emotional, physical, and mental abuse from a mother and her sons. So this left a huge scar in my heart, and I slowly began to hate male gender. I am thanking God for deliverance and healing from abuse and pornography. So this testimony is written in parts. So I'll be sharing the part 1 today, and the part 2 will come up in subsequent meetings. After my mom left and was no longer in the picture, she left my brother and I at Nnewi and Lagos. I was kept in Lagos and my brother Nnewi. We were reunited and stayed with my mom's friend's mom. It was a whole new and wild experience for me. The ladies' sons dealt with us, except the youngest, who treated us better. I was about 6 years old. The first son would physically abuse us, beating and starving us here and there. And it was around that time that the abuse started. This act was done by the second son, who I think was about 20 years plus. My letting him do whatever he wanted to do to me meant food for us, which I would eventually give to my brother, as most times they would give us food for one person alone. It also meant no beating for a while. He would make me and sometimes my brother watch a porn video on his phone. This continued, and I couldn't say or do anything about it, but now that I think of it, God was there in the shadows, in the sense that even when he would carry out some acts, God didn't let whatever was supposed to happen. The second episode was his mother, but hers was different. She made me give her what I grew up to discover is called a hand job, which is quite problematic and can't even give the details. Why would she make me do that? I thought to myself, but I knew I had to do whatever they wanted so we could survive. This too continued. A series of emotional, physical, and mental abuse from a mother and her sons. Thankfully, God revealed our location to my dad in his dream, according to the story of our rescue that was told. My dad wasn't around. Quick backstory, wasn't around, so he's in the military and they would go out to different countries for various peace something. So my mom took us and just distributed us in different locations when he wasn't around. So God brought about a rescue operation through a dream. This leads to episode 3. I was about 8 years now. Due to my dad being a soldier, he got us a caregiver, as he was almost never at home those days, and as a result of where he was stationed. My caregiver was the third abuser. Since my dad was not always at home, he had authority over us. He was in his late 20s. I remember he would stop me from attending my after-school lessons just to do his deeds. And when he was done, he would let me go and ask me to go to school and not tell anyone what happened, else he would hurt me. My tears never made any difference to any of them, but God came through. The fourth episode started after our caregiver was made to leave for some reasons. My dad's friend would come from time to time and would have his way. He would convince my little brain that he wasn't a bad uncle and wasn't doing anything bad to me. And even if I struggled to remove my little body from underneath him, it didn't make any difference, as he was way stronger than any of the others and myself. He would say that that's how love is shown, something along that line. This came to an end when my dad came back home one day and made plans to send us to Akwa Ibom State for a while. The 5th episode began with my older cousin, which no one knew about. He started as a result of a crush I had on a friend of his. Even my little head knew that was wrong, and I hid it away in a notebook of mine. But then he found it and didn't correct or anything, but rather used it to his own advantage. He would threaten me and say that he would give that note to my uncle, and gosh, how I dreaded Cain. I begged and promised to be obedient, to be a good girl, cried and begged, but it all fell on deaf ears. He introduced me into deeper porn as he made me watch it. I guess God didn't leave me because he reminded me of what to do to save me in those times. So this left a huge scar in my heart, and I slowly began to hate male gender while being friends with them. I grew up with this hatred. Now, coming back to Uloh, which was all God's plan as I didn't want to school here, brought about my healing and forgiving these people and myself for when I gave into it for whatever reason. The journey to my healing started from various meetings when Pastor would talk about forgiveness and teach us how to forgive. I remember praying with this pain in my chest. Whenever Pastor would pray and would lead us to pray, forgiving these people, forgiving the people that wronged us by calling their names, I had thought that chapter of my life was closed, was done with, until I was about to go home for the holidays that year. I spoke with my shepherd about it. Although not clearly in details, as I struggled to say these things, I was battling with voices that told me I can't go and preach to people when this happened and all that. And there was a party to that too. So she prayed for me and led me to forgive them and forgive myself for the times when I just gave into it after there was nothing I could do about it. So I had peace after that prayer, and those thoughts never came back. I mean, now I literally see my cousin every day and I don't think about killing him, stabbing him in his sleep, or putting poisonous substance in his food. So I thank God for healing my heart. May his name be praised.
Thanks for watching. For more stories of God's transforming power as well as all the life-changing content, do check out the links in the description. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, turn on your notification bell, and share. God bless you.